Every big franchise has to start somewhere, and sometimes that somewhere just doesn't hold up. Uncharted 2 is better, right? 3? Uncharted 4? Gotta be a good game in there. Welcome to completion number 114 of the Potato Backlog Project. I actually have all of the Uncharted games on the backlog. I did own the original versions of the first 3 back in the day and just never got around to playing them. So I purchased the Nathan Drake collection when it came out, and I didn't get around to playing that either. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the only rating that matters in 2024, the Tater Raider. And let's talk about Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I do think the second and third games of the Uncharted series are better. I've read as much, and I'll find out for sure shortly. I just don't think a game series gets 5 games in a movie if the quality of games doesn't go up from what we have in the first offering. So let's get right into it. Uncharted Drake's Fortune did not age well. When it originally released, the cinematic feel of the cutscenes, the story, voice acting, and animation, the graphics themselves for the time, all of these things felt and were incredible, especially compared to anything else that had come out up to that point. That's why it scored so high with review outlets. Go back and play this game today, and the actual gameplay is janky cover-based gunfighting without many great gun options. I went into Uncharted expecting a Tomb Raider style game, lots of clever puzzles with better than Tomb Raider gunfighting. What I got was like 5% puzzles and 95% gunfights. Before we do get too deep into those issues, I will say this: the story's good, the characters are great, they actually made the game tolerable to get through. There are a couple funny moments that did pull me out of things a little bit, like at one point you suspect your friend may have betrayed you, and Nathan's like, "Man, I'm really gonna beat him up when I see him next time." And he says this after we've already murdered and killed like hundreds of people on this island. His friend betrayed him. He's gonna beat him up. He's gonna beat that guy up. You're a killer, Nate. There is a tonal shift near the end of the game and a new enemy type that appears because of it. That just felt a little bit out of nowhere. It didn't really get the buildup that it needed to be an effective story point or plot twist. But I was okay with it because it broke up the monotony of the bad cover gunfighting a little bit. And now that I think about it, maybe that was the point. Uncharted does have some exploration and parkour elements to it. These aren't incredibly difficult sections, but it was a nice change of pace from the constant gunfights. As mentioned earlier, there are also some puzzles in the game. These are few and far between. They are also made fairly simple to solve. The game will just prompt you to open Nate's diary, and then it just basically gives you the answers. So the satisfaction of doing the puzzles is kind of robbed from you. You don't even have to do anything to earn the clues. The biggest issues with the gunfights, outside of how many there are, is the clumsy cover system, aiming from cover, and the limited arsenal of weapon options. Aiming from cover was incredibly inconsistent. Here I sat and pressed the aim button and only the aim button a few times in a row, and I came out looking at a different area each time. Vaulting over cover and diving to cover was also hit and miss. Nothing felt super consistent. You are given some melee options, and they are usable from time to time, but as the game progresses, so does the difficulty, so it becomes pretty rare for you to be able to get close enough to anybody to actually use the melee fighting later in the game. The enemies you fight were also fairly bullet spongy, and we all know how that can go. You could get one-shot kills with headshots early on, and that kind of gets taken away later in the game when the enemies have helmets. The nature of the headshots being so good made it more efficient to just use the standard pistol. The machine guns all felt underpowered in comparison. They took too many bullets to kill enemies, and with the bullet spray, consistent headshots with them were just much more difficult. The shotgun was great up close, but inconsistent when not aiming down sight, which hindered your mobility in a close-up kind of battle. The only reliable gun I found outside of the standard pistol was the sniper rifle, and it was a rare gun to find. Even more rare to pick up replacement ammo, and the damn thing only came with 5 shells if you managed to find one. This bad weapon variety just added to the monotony of the continuous gunfight situations you would find yourself in. It became almost laughable in the middle of the game. I would finish a fight, run 10 seconds into the next area to see if there was a puzzle or a place to explore, and a new set of enemies would just run in, and you started the whole cover firefight all over again. No exploration, no need to parkour, no cutscenes. I can't remember the chapters, but man, it was just a pretty weak section of the game. After completing Uncharted, I read about the development issues that came along with making the game. It seems like a minor miracle it was finished at all, let alone finished and playable. So I can see why there maybe isn't the depth there, puzzle and gameplay wise, that I was expecting from such a highly touted series. 2 happy potato faces out of 5, but you gotta start somewhere, right? The right place, the right time, the right era, and apparently incredible back in the day, but just not great to pick up and play in modern times. Without this game though, we wouldn't have everything else in the series, so it is great that it got made. With that, the Backlog project rolls on. Thank you so much for watching. Be kind to yourselves and others that deserve it. We're on to the next one. So the satisfaction of satisfaction